Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 849A, and today's date is December 22nd, 2015, and the title of the episode is The Economic Indicators Are Reporting a Collapsing Economy. Let's get right into the economic collapse financial news. We're going to head out to Greece and talk about what is happening out there, and we see the Eurozone right now. They approved the bailout of 1 billion euro to Greece. Now, is this going to help Greece? No, it isn't. This is going to make it a lot worse for the people. It will put them further into debt because this 1 billion euro payment is the third disbursement of the initial loan of 16 billion agreed in August. And we know from the past, every time they give Greece more and more debt, it doesn't go to the people. It doesn't go to help the people. It actually makes it worse. They have to cut their programs. The people are left out in the cold. They have no jobs. And it gets harder and harder for the people. This money then goes to the creditors and to help with the government operating costs. That's it. And as time goes on, as they take on more and more debt, there's less and less revenue coming into the country, and it cannot be supported. Things really then start to fall apart, and the people say, okay, we've had enough once again. This is not working out for us, and we will see this occur, where the people say, okay, enough is enough, we can't take it anymore. Because it reaches a point where the people say, we gave you a chance, and we are done here. It happens every single time. Here in the United States, the illusion is completely falling apart. Yes, they can manipulate some numbers. They can make it look good. But what we're seeing right now is the real economic indicators. They're separating from what the United States government central bankers can control. They can manipulate. They can modify. They can massage the numbers. But there are certain things they just can't touch. And it gets harder and harder as time goes on. And people are starting to notice that these economic indicators that are coming in don't support what the government and the central bank is telling us. And we've been through this recovery now for, 7 years? They're telling us that we're in a recovery for 7 years. Think about that for a second. Shouldn't we be out of this recovery? But if we look back from 2008 going forward, the economy has done absolutely nothing. It's stagnant. Actually, it's declining. We're getting information that existing home sales, they have crashed by 10.5%. This is the worst November drop ever. Yes, we had a lot of snow. Yes, the weather wasn't bad. Actually, the weather was kind of pleasant. So this doesn't fit into their meme. So why did housing fall apart? Well, they were only expecting a 0.2% drop. But this is a complete and utter gigantic miss. And when you look at the total existing home sales on an annualized rate, we're at 2-year lows right now. The median home prices have fallen, and now they're flat. And they're going to be falling once again. People are finding out that it's getting harder and harder to sell their homes. They're on the markets now over 180 days. Normally, the existing home sales are those people trying to get out of their homes, trying to upgrade, and the new generation is normally coming in. And what we're seeing right now, since the new generation, which is coming out of high school, college, they can't find work. They can't find the high-paying jobs. They can't save the money. And this is going to be very difficult. But when we look around the country, what do we see? Existing home sales in the Northeast declined by 9.2%. The Midwest by 15.4%. The South, 6.2%. And in the West, 13.9%. But don't worry, Lawrence Yun from the National Association of Realtors, the chief economist, who said that we'll be coming out of this back in 2008 in October, saying this is just a little bump in the road. Winter looks really strong, and again, he was completely wrong. But this time he's saying there are multiple factors that led to November's sales decline. But the primary reason could be that, that new law which says no before your O rule. No before you're taking out the new mortgage. Now, they used this before when real estate increased. They said, the new rule's making it easier. Now that the real estate is decreasing, they're saying, it must be the new rule once again. No, it's the economy. No, it's the people that are being laid off. No, it's the people that are saying, you know something, this is not a good time to purchase a home. Because this matches the applications for mortgages, which is continually on a downward trend. And we see that the United States government is out there trying to convince everyone that the economy is doing well. They came in with their manipulated GDP number of 2.1%, as where they throw in Obamacare. They have all this inventory, which is still included in this, and it's still building up at this point. And they continually modify, manipulate these numbers to fit their story. But when we look outside of their manipulation, it doesn't fit whatsoever. Look at the Baltic Dry Index. It's at 474 points right now. And throughout these last couple of months, it's been around 600 or less. So does any of this make any sense whatsoever? I guess they can get rid of manufacturing and just include people going out to eat, people going and getting jobs as bartenders and waiters, including research and development, including Obamacare, including everything but what? Manufacturing? I mean, this is how they're continually manipulating all of these numbers. Now, since Obama has taken office, he has taken the debt from 10.6 trillion back in January 20th of 2009 to 18.7 trillion, which was recorded on December 21st, 2015. That means the debt that we are passing on to our future generations has increased by $8.16 trillion since Obama was inaugurated. So that means we are stealing more than $100 million from the future generation of Americans every single hour of every single day. This cannot go on. And like every system that works in continually adding debt, it will crash. And the manufacturing jobs, the high-paying jobs, none of this is coming back to America. I know they keep talking about this. Actually, they've been talking about this for 20-odd years, that manufacturing is going to be coming back. Don't worry, we're putting in NAFTA. We're going to be putting in other things. Guess what? All of it's a lie. The reality is that roughly half of all U.S.-based global corporate sales and profits are reaped overseas. It makes zero financial sense to pay a U.S. worker $20 an hour and pay the insanely expensive costs of sick care, health care in the U.S. when the work can be done closer to the actual markets for goods and services at a fraction of the cost someplace else. This is why corporations, manufacturers have been leaving the United States. They're not coming back. So over the past years, we have seen wages continually fall. As a percentage of GDP, wages have been declining for decades. Self-employment is basically declining since 1940s. I mean, what we're seeing here is a dying system. And at this point, the way we are, this cannot be recovered. No matter what they say, no matter what they do, no matter what lie they tell us, we need to restart everything. We need to get rid of the central bank, and we need to govern ourselves. Working like this, having a government like this report to the central bank is never going to work. Because what they're doing right now is they're looking all over the world for revenue. Because they realize the system is dying. This is why they created FATCA and other laws. And they're going to different countries saying, listen, you need to hand over the American customers who have bank accounts with you, and you need to provide us with all the information. This way we can tax them. And a lot of countries are saying, well, no, we're not going to do this. And if they don't do this, they're fined. One of them being China. They were ordered by an American court to hand over customer information to the U.S. But this goes against China's privacy laws. So the U.S. said, okay, you know what we're going to do? We're going to fine China $50,000 per day. Does China really care? Well, you could say whatever you want. You can't impose your rules on our country. China is a sovereign nation. But we see the United States is doing this to every single country. Pushing its iron fist, saying you will do what we say or else. This is a sign of a dying empire. Meanwhile, Russia is adding another 700,000 ounces to their gold reserves. China is doing the same. Russia has added 197.1 tons in 2015, compared to 172 tons in all of 2014. Russia now is the 6th largest gold reserve in the world, and they're going to continually purchase gold. So is China, because we know what's happening. Everything is being moved from the west to the east. If you noticed, everything's being duplicated. Payment system, reserve currency, gold exchange, bilateral trade, hubs to exchange currencies. It's all being duplicated to make this move. Finland is out there saying, and this is coming from Soini, thinks that Finland must do something else when it comes to its participation in the single currency. They're saying that we should have never joined the euro. Finland's economy has contracted for 3 years running, and it's getting worse as time goes on. Right now, Finland will be the weakest EU economy by 2017, when it will grow at less than half the pace of Greece, according to the European Commission. So we see from the central banking system and from everything they set up, most of these countries are completely falling apart, and it is spreading, and it's accelerating. It's getting worse. It's not getting better. And if we go back to when they told us that things were okay, in Europe back in 2013, when they were trying to get into Syria, they said unemployment is going to really drop a lot. Everything's going to stabilize. President Hollande was saying the same exact thing. If you look back to that, nothing's changed. The unemployment actually stayed steady. It creeped up a little bit. And now it's getting worse. The countries are taking on more and more debt. All of this is not getting any better. We are heading to this great collapse. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.